Chances are, if you're tuning in, it's because you're somebody who likes to think about and plan for the future. You don't like to be caught unawares. You might have started thinking about how we're going to save. My name is Michael Carlson. I'm a certified financial planner with Carlson Wealth Advisors. You can find out more about me and my firm by checking out the link below this video. And today I want to talk to you about some different things to consider when saving for college. The first one I want to talk about is maybe the one that people are most aware of, and that is through a program called 529. Rules have changed over the years. However, at this point, 529 plans can be used to save for private tuition, K through 12, as well as colleges, universities, trade schools, vocational schools, beauty schools. But let me tell you a little bit about how it works and why this might be a good way to save for you. First of all, the 529 plan was set up specifically with education funding in mind. When you add money to a 529 plan, all that money goes into that account on an after-tax basis, meaning you've already paid taxes on those dollars, so there's not necessarily an immediate tax benefit. Although, check your state, local rules, you might qualify for some additional tax credits or things like that when you make contributions to the plan. Once that money is in the 529 plan, it's then going to grow on a tax-deferred basis, which means that over the years, as that money grows, if you're making trades inside the account, or if it's paying out dividends or capital gains or that type of thing, none of those things are taxed at the time that those events occur. As long as it's used for a qualified education expense, all the growth that you otherwise would have paid tax on is not taxable. If the named beneficiary on that account decides not to go to school, maybe you were saving for them to go to college, and they decide, you know what, I'm not gonna go that route. I'm gonna start my own business or have a job or whatever else. You have a few different options. One is that you can change the beneficiary on the account. Instead of it being Jimmy, now you change it to Sally because Sally is about to graduate as well, and she's planning to go to college, and so you can use it to help her out. If that's not an option for you, there is a newer rule in which you can begin to convert those 529 assets over to a Roth IRA. Now, you're going to be subject to annual contribution limits with how much you can convert, but it is an option. It used to be that you were kind of trapped. If it wasn't going to be used for education, you just had to pull the money out, and you were going to be taxed and penalized on the growth of whatever assets you put in there. Now, that brings me to my next point. If there's just nothing you want to use this money for and you just want to get it out, then your third option, or your last option rather, is to just take that money out, pay the taxes, pay the penalties. Not very fun, but you get the money back in your pocket and you can do whatever you want with it. One other thing to note there is that however much a person has in a 529 does have to be put down when you're applying for federal student aid. It's a small impact on the calculation you do to determine, your eligibility, but it is still a factor and must be taken into account. Next way I want to talk about is UTMAs or UGMAs, two different types of accounts that can be set up for a minor, someone younger than age 18. As soon as the money goes into that account, technically becomes the minor's money. That is a gift to the minor. There is a custodian of that account, somebody who's going to watch over those funds. Once the child turns 18, 19, 20, 21, depending on the state, again, it gets turned over to that child. There are no stipulations on what they can do with that money. They can do whatever they want with it. It is theirs. They can go buy a car with it. They can use it to put a down payment on a house. They can take an awesome, sweet vacation that hopefully they invite you on at the very least. There's no special tax treatment necessarily on those funds. It goes in, it's going to be taxed regularly every year. You're going to get a 1099 and it's going to say, this is how much interest there was, or these are the dividends or the capital gains or losses or whatever, and you'll pay the taxes along the way with that. Downside to that, obviously, is if they can do whatever they want and they're not the most responsible child in the world, that could go poorly, might seem like a waste of money. Another thing to keep in mind with that is when applying for federal aid, that is going to more negatively impact that calculation that is used to determine eligibility more negatively than a 529 plan does by a decent amount. The last thing I'll mention, any kind of account in your own name and designating in your mind that, okay, this account is for little Timmy. You have full control over that. You never have to tell Timmy about it. You can decide whether you use it for Timmy or not when Timmy graduates from high school or whatever the case may be. That type of account, again, is going to be treated similarly tax-wise as the UGMA or UPMA account. I have clients do this from time to time. They don't like the idea of it being restricted to just education, so they don't want to do the 529 plan. They don't want it to become the grandchild's money as soon as they reach that age, just in case they're not the most responsible individuals. Regardless of the option you use to save for education for a child, most important thing I can tell you is, first of all, take care of yourself. Put your own oxygen mask on first, right? Okay? No point in helping to save for somebody else's future if you can't afford to take care of yourself, and that child or grandchild or whoever is going to have to turn around and take care of you for the rest of your life. Always make sure that your own financial picture looks good first. Little Timmy has got years and years to pay off student debts. And then the last thing I will say is starting earlier is always better with any investment plan. Okay, compound interest is one of the most incredible things in the world. It's been called the eighth wonder of the world. Investing early, starting early, will always work out to your advantage. With that, hopefully that information was helpful to you. If you've got any questions about it, please don't hesitate to reach out. Love to chat with you, if just for a few minutes, to answer any questions you have, and have a great day.